Assalamu alaikum, very good morning and very warm welcome to the session. Today we are going to conduct on a Roshan digital account and that will be led by Dubai Islamic Bank, Nutshell, and ACC is also a partner there. These sessions are important for us. I think that's one of a milestone in terms of development, how central bank has created an inclusive opportunity for all our non-resident Pakistani to participate in economic activity and also in a financial well-being of their family back at Pakistan or back home. So this session जो है इसका overall objective we will be inviting Junaid Ahmed, who is the CEO and president of Dubai Islamic Bank, and the objective is that कि audience को awareness दी जाए कि रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट किस तरह यूज हो सकता है एंड वाई DIB और पाकिस्तान के इकोनॉमिक सिचुएशन पे थोड़ी सी बात की जा सके ताकि थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस डेवलप किया जा सके और उस कन्वर्सेशन को हम लेके आगे चल सके. सो वेलकम जुनैद अहमद साहब. सो ओवर टू यू. वी विल बी लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू योर रिमार्क्स एंड यू कैन स्टार्ट हियर.
Thank you, Sajid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and good morning to everyone. I am pleased to welcome the distinguished participants, His Excellency Afzal Mahmood Sahab, Ambassador of Pakistan to UAE, Dr. Murtaza Syed Sahab, Deputy Governor, State Bank of Pakistan, Syed Irfan Ali, Managing Director, Deposit Protection Corporation, State Bank of Pakistan, Ms. Shabnam Mahmood, CEO, Hotel Group, UAE, and Board Member of DIB Pakistan, Mohammad Raza Jasani Sahab. He is the head of strategic planning and analytics, DIB UAE, and board member of DIB Pakistan. Mr. Sohail Beg, a special thanks to Sohail because I'm told that he is caught under COVID day before yesterday, yet he is joining us in this webinar. He is CEO AMR Pakistan, and our moderator for today's webinar, Sajid Aslam, country head ACCA Pakistan. ACCA is also our knowledge partner for the webinar. And obviously all valuable viewers to Dubai Islamic Bank Pakistan webinar on Roshan digital account, gateway to investment for non-resident Pakistanis in collaboration with State Bank of Pakistan and knowledge partner ACCA. First of all, I would like to congratulate State Bank of Pakistan on its landmark achievement in launching RDA program, the first of its kind digital solution for the NRP diaspora. The success of RDA is now well known to everyone. It has crossed 145,000 accounts with around $1.2 billion received in this account in a record short time. Congratulations, Dr. Murtaza and your team, and obviously Dr. Zabakar. This success is due to the excellent customer-friendly product design, along with a lot of hard work put in by the State Bank of Pakistan team and the RDA member banks. I would specifically like to mention the extraordinary commitment and energy seen in its implementation from State Bank of Pakistan, starting right from the top. Governor Dr. Raza Bakar, Deputy Governor Dr. Murtaza Syed, Irfan Ali Sahab, Arshad Bhatti Sahab, and other State Bank officials who have been working day and night to make this product a success. First time, such successful collaboration is seen between the regulator and the member banks. I now present a brief overview about Dubai Islamic Bank. We are a UAE-based bank with presence in 7 countries, including UAE, Kenya, Indonesia, Sudan, Turkey, Pakistan, and Bosnia. I am delighted to share that DIB is one of the largest financiers of the government of Pakistan. We led arrange various Sukuk programs since 2014 and have been advisor to GOP for issuance of FCY and LCY Sukuk. Financing arranged only in 2020 was $825 million with direct commitment of DIB. Funded by DIB was $650 million. Overall exposure in government of Pakistan of the DIB group is 100 billion rupees now. DIB is a wholly owned subsidiary of Dubai Islamic Bank UAE. DIB Pakistan started operation in 2006 in Pakistan and currently operating with 235 branches in over 70 cities nationwide. In addition to our strong presence in corporate, commercial, and capital market in Pakistan banking industry, we are one of the leading consumer bank in the market with an array of Sharia-compliant products, including auto, mortgage, and personal finance, which have been made available to NRP customer. And it was made available before even the RDA program, because this was a product which we were offering to our NRP customer in the UAE from beginning. DIB has always valued the NRP segment, has worked towards developing new and innovative products to address their changing needs. The theme for today's webinar is RDA, a gateway to investment for the NRPs. We shall not only be focusing on the product, its operational aspect, but we'll also be discussing the key investment opportunities that are available for the NRP segment in Pakistan through the Roshan digital account platform. These opportunities include investment in real estate and equity markets, alongside the INPC, which shall be deliberated by the participants in the discussion today. Thank you very much, everyone. I would now like to request His Excellency Abdul Mahmood Sahab, Ambassador of Pakistan to UAE, to address this distinguished gathering.
State Bank of Pakistan for its initiative of launching Roshan digital account, and then the Dubai Islamic Bank for making this webinar possible today. It is always an honor and a pleasure to be a part of this team. The UAE is probably the lead country where maximum accounts holder are at the moment, and we we have a lot of potential. And I think this is my third or fourth interaction with the State Bank of Pakistan and different banks who are helping us on digital accounts. So I was ambassador to Bahrain before. We had a session from there, and now I am always available and I am always here to help and support. So we have about 1.6 million Pakistanis here, and majority of people who have joined this account are middle class and people who find it more convenient to make use this facility, and it is for mutual benefit of them, the government of Pakistan, the state of Pakistan, and all of us. So I continue to receive many queries about it, and we help you in the field to kind of promote this scheme. I would like to use this opportunity to share with you very quickly a few points, a few observations from some of the people. So one important thing is that some people have come back to us saying that if they want to remit local currency to Pakistan, it is easy. But if they are sending dollars, sometime it takes longer time, because probably there is an intermediary bank in the US and the dollars go through that. So from Murtaza Sayyid Saab, I would like some clarification in the process of discussion for the benefit of the people who have joined us and who would like to hear this, and it would educate us also. And there have been some individual cases of some delays here and there, and through some specific banks when they want to send money to Pakistan. So I have been sending you individually. We usually address our communications to the Deputy Governor, State Bank, and I'm sure if there are any gaps, they are being filled, and we would like to have a feedback on the individual observation we continue to share with the State Bank. So I will not take a lot of your time, because I think we should allow people who are participating and who are facing some problems or difficulties or who have observations to raise their questions, and the State Bank to respond to them. And I again thank the Dubai Islamic Bank to make it possible for us to sit together and to deliberate on this very useful scheme, which is useful for Pakistan and Pakistani. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Afzal Sahab. I think the one area which I would definitely like to appreciate from our investor side, that they are very closely working with the community in UAE, and they are also taking that initiative to provide that feedback to us in Pakistan, whether we are talking as a regulator, we're talking as a citizen, or we are talking as a bank. So I think that's role should be appreciated, and I think that's a very important role, that we have got a voice of our non-resident Pakistanis staying in UAE right now, and that's definitely a one thing which is going to help them. So thank you, Afzal Sahab. I really appreciate that gesture. So now we would like to invite Dr. Murtaza Sayyid, Deputy Governor of State Bank, to share the overall progress which we have made through the Russian digital account, as well as what are the future development we should be expecting. So, Dr. Sab, if you can share some of the wisdom behind that Russian digital account, and as well as how we see the future of it and how it's going to help our non-resident Pakistani. So, please welcome Dr. Murtaza Sayed.
Thank you very much, Sajid Saab. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. His Excellency Ambassador Afzal Mahmood Saab, Junaid Ahmed Saab, CEO of Dubai Islamic Bank, Nutshell, ACCA. We would like to thank all of you for being with us today and for helping organize this webinar. These kinds of interactions are very important for us, actually, because it has been about 9 months since we started the Roshan Digital Account Scheme. We started it last September, in the middle of September. And because we have not actually been able to travel abroad because of the COVID situation, these kinds of interactions, these webinars are actually very useful for us because we get feedback about how the initiative is going. We get new ideas for how to improve it further. And I'm very grateful, especially to Ambassador Afzal Saab, who has always been very generous with his time and has been very good about sharing feedback that we are getting from the diaspora. What I'd like to be able to do today is basically talk about 3 things before I hand it over to Irfan Ali Saab, who really is the linchpin behind the Roshan Digital Account Initiative here in the State Bank. He has been involved in it since day one. He is the MD of our Deposit Protection Corporation and really has been driving this initiative for us. And he will talk in detail about the Roshan Digital Account and its features. What I'd like to do is basically do 3 things in my opening remarks. One is to tell you a little bit about the Roshan Digital Account journey. Where are we? What are some of the main features of this account? Secondly, I'd like to be able to talk a little bit about why overseas Pakistanis should be hopeful about Pakistan's future and why this is a good time actually to be taking advantage of the Roshan Digital Account product in order to get connected to Pakistan's economy. We believe it's at a takeoff phase right now, and I'll give you some facts and figures behind that. And lastly, I'd like to end with a request to everybody who's listening here today. So let me begin first with just giving you some numbers. As I said, it's been a little under 9 months since we started this initiative. And so far, actually, Junaid Saab, we look at the numbers every day, and the numbers are a little bit higher than what you had quoted in your initial remarks. So far, we have nearly 160,000 Roshan digital accounts that have been opened. These have been opened from more than 170 countries around the world. Every day, there is about 1,500 accounts being opened. So far, through these accounts, we actually have nearly $1.3 billion that have come in. Every day, there is between $8 and $10 million coming in. And the pace of these flows has actually picked up. In the last 3 or 4 months, we are at a run rate of about $250 million a month. And this is a very encouraging beginning for us. We are very happy with this start. At the same time, we know that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are between 8 and 9 million overseas Pakistanis around the world. So far, we have about 160,000 accounts. Even if you think that about half of the overseas population of Pakistanis is bankable, there's still a long way to go. But the start is a very good one. In fact, it has been recognized, this start, by a number of international players as well. We are getting questions from regulators across the world about how we did this, and they would like to be able to learn from our experience. And people who have been watching the diaspora space globally are telling us that this is one of the most exciting things that has happened in the last 10 years. So this Roshan digital account really is beginning to resonate both among overseas Pakistanis and more generally among the international community. How did this come about? Why did we come up with this idea? Last year, in the middle of last year, the Prime Minister, Imran Khan Saab, reached out to the State Bank saying that he wanted to find a way to tap overseas Pakistanis. He believes they are the biggest asset of Pakistan. Continually they have come to Pakistan's aid whenever we have had problems, including through the COVID shock. As you know, remittances in Pakistan this year have already broken last year's record. We are at $24 billion. Overseas Pakistanis have always helped Pakistan during its time of need. And the Prime Minister this time wanted to be able to thank the overseas Pakistanis, think about their needs, and connect them in a seamless way to Pakistan's banking system and Pakistan's economy, so that they can also take advantage of the very exciting things that are happening in the Pakistan economy in the last few years. So that was his request to us. So the State Bank then got together with stakeholders, and we thought about how best to do this. And there are three, I think, main features that I want to highlight about the Roshan digital account. Irfan Saab will tell you in much more detail later in his presentation. But the first is that it's a totally digital experience. From opening the bank account to operating it to taking your money back whenever you need to, all of this can be done wherever you have internet access. You can do it through an app, you can do it through your internet portals of the banks. You don't have to leave your home or anywhere you have an internet connection. You don't have to go to a bank branch. You don't have to take complicated documents with you. It's all digital. And this is the first time in Pakistan's history that we have allowed digital onboarding of customers. We have not made any compromise in terms of due diligence or know your customer rules, but we have made it very easy to get connected to Pakistan. Within 48 hours, your bank account in Pakistan can be opened if you have the right documents and you have filled in the forms correctly. So the first feature actually is this totally digital experience. And I think that is a very exciting thing that we've been able to do. Very few countries across the world allow this kind of cross-border digital onboarding of customers. We've been able to do that in Pakistan, something to be very proud about. The second feature I think that is very important is that these accounts allow you access to a lifestyle suite of products in Pakistan. What does that mean? It means that if you want to send money to your loved ones here in Pakistan, if you want to pay bills for them, utility bills, school bills, if you want to do e-commerce, send them gifts, all of that is possible. At the same time, we also have a very exciting range of investment products that have been made available to overseas Pakistanis for the first time. One of these is the Naya Pakistan certificate, which is available both in Pakistani rupees as well as in dollars, Great British pounds, as well as euros. And these offer very, very attractive rates of return on a risk-free basis because they, of course, carry the sovereign guarantee of the government of Pakistan. And the rates are up to 7% in dollars and up to 11% in rupees, and in the middle of that range for euro and Great British pounds. Very, very attractive. If you compare it to risk-free rates globally right now, they're close to zero. For example, the US T-bill rate is very, very close to zero. This is offering you up to 7%. So a very exciting opportunity. At the same time, and I'm excited that we also have the CEO of Emaar here, we also have integrated Roshan digital account with real estate and with the stock market. So for the first time, overseas Pakistanis can actually participate in the real estate sector and the stock market digitally. And I think the third important feature of these Roshan digital accounts is that they're totally repatriable, which means that anytime you want your money back, you have the peace of mind that you will not have to have complicated approvals. It won't take a long time. The same ease with which you sent the money into your Roshan digital accounts, the exact same ease you will have when you want to repatriate your funds. So I think these three features of the Roshan digital account are actually very, very important and important for our overseas Pakistanis to remember. I will also say that one thing, and this is the final thing I'll say on the Roshan digital account, is that we have continually tried to improve the product. The kind of feedback, for example, that we just got at the beginning from Ambassador Afzal Saab, but also through these webinars and other interactions that we have with the overseas Pakistanis, we have been, our commitment is that we will act upon the feedback that we're getting. If there are problems, we will try to fix them. We have done that in the last few months. And with the grace of God and the hard work of the banks and the State Bank officials, we are now at a stage where opening the account is more or less seamless. It's not a very complicated process at all. And even operating the account has become much easier. However, if people do have some suggestions for further improvement, they want to see other products that should be added to the suite, please let us know. We are looking to broaden the range of products that are being available. For example, we are thinking about a housing finance product. We have recently brought a car loan product, which Irfan Saab will be telling you about. We've also embedded different charities into the account. So if you want to do charitable giving, you can do it through the Roshan digital account just through some mouse clicks. And going forward, we will also be thinking about insurance products, annuity products, different needs that our overseas Pakistanis have. We want to be able to meet them through the Roshan digital account. My second point that I'd like to make is, why should you be confident as an overseas Pakistani about Pakistan's future? Why is this time different? And I think here I'd like to make a few points. The first is that if you look at how Pakistan has managed the COVID crisis, it really is a standout story globally. the way that we have been able to contain cases in Pakistan through a smart lockdown strategy, through contact tracing, despite having a relatively underdeveloped health system, I think really gives us a lot of confidence that Pakistan's ability to manage the health crisis has been second to none. If you look at Pakistan's cases per million, they peaked at 30. In the world, these peaked at 100 per million. In our neighborhood, we have much higher incidence of COVID, much higher deaths, unfortunately. In Pakistan, with the grace of God and the good planning of the government, those numbers have been kept down. So I think one thing that should give overseas Pakistanis a lot of pride and a lot of hope and encouragement is how we have dealt with COVID so far. We are going through a third wave right now, but again, the numbers have come down in the last couple of weeks. We are hopeful that given the success that we had with the first two waves, we'll also be able to contain this third wave. So that's, I think, the first point. The second point is, if you look at what has happened to the economy through COVID, we are actually now rebounding very strongly. We are expecting growth this fiscal year, which ends in June, to be 4%. And we expect at the State Bank for growth to be even higher next year as this momentum carries over. We are seeing a lot of activity in construction. We are seeing cement sales at record highs. We are seeing automobile sales at record highs. We are seeing booming business confidence. There is really on the ground in Pakistan a sense that we are turning a corner and entering into a takeoff phase. The very exciting export processing zones that we have in CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, particularly in terms of manufacturing and service and IT exports, also, I think, bode very well for our future in terms of our growth being able to be sustained. And also on the agricultural side, the government has a lot of plans for increasing productivity, giving better seeds, better fertilizers to our farmers, giving them the Kisan card, which hopefully will also allow agriculture to become a very important growth engine going forward. So all of that is happening on the ground in Pakistan. At the same time, if you look at our macroeconomic situation beyond growth, also there is a very good story to tell. I worked at the IMF for a long time, and I know that one of the indicators that a country is about to get into trouble is the current account. If your current account becomes large and you're not able to finance it, your reserves start to fall, and you then have to go to the IMF, and you typically have a balance of payments problem. If you look at Pakistan's current account, through the first 10 months of this year, we are actually in a surplus of about $1 billion. That has never happened in the last 17 years. If you compare the situation to where we were in the summer of 2019, when we had a deficit of $19 billion, we are now at a surplus of $1 billion. So that turnaround in the current account is a very hopeful story. It tells you that going forward, Pakistan should have much less problem in meeting its external obligations. The second point is that we were able to make this turnaround not because of some band-aid measures, but because we took a very bold decision. The government took a very bold decision to move towards a totally different exchange rate system. We used to have a fixed exchange rate system. The exchange rate was overvalued. Our exports were uncompetitive. Imports were subsidized. That was creating this current account deficit. We now have a flexible exchange rate for the first time, and it has performed very well through COVID. It has helped keep the current account deficit controlled. In fact, we have a surplus, as I said, so far, made our exports much more competitive, and made sure that our domestic enterprises can compete both globally and also domestically, because imports are no longer subsidized by having an artificially overvalued exchange rate. If you look at how the exchange rate has actually performed through COVID, that also gives you confidence. Our exchange rate today is at around the same level as it was before the COVID shock. If you compare that to other emerging markets, Turkey, Brazil, Nigeria, Russia, South Africa, there the depreciations have been about 20 to 25% after COVID. In Pakistan's case, we went down a little bit, but now we're back to where we were pre-COVID. So again, the exchange rate regime is performing very well, gives us a lot of confidence that going forward, it can be the shock absorber, and our current account will remain in control and will not go back to the deficits that we had before. So these, I think, are reasons to be confident about Pakistan. On the ground, as I said, there's optimism that we're entering into a takeoff phase. A new wave of industrialization, a new wave of investment is starting in Pakistan, supported by the very low interest rate environment that we have right now, but also through subsidized refinance facilities of the State Bank aimed towards investment. So we've had about 1% of GDP in investment through refinance facilities of the State Bank that have allowed our domestic firms to invest in new capacity expansion by investing in machinery. And we're very excited about what this will mean for growth going forward. I also think that another reason why Pakistanis should be excited about opportunities going forward is that you now have a technocratic set of people, both at the Ministry of Finance and the State Bank. So people who understand the value of macroeconomic stability, who understand how the economy works, and I think people who are committed to taking Pakistan to a much more sustainable and higher growth trajectory going forward. We are the 5th largest country in the world by population. Other countries have also had takeoffs, and typically they have benefited from their diaspora. If you look at China, you look at other countries, their diaspora has been a key part of the takeoff that occurred in China over the last 30, 40 years. And there is no reason why the Pakistani diaspora cannot play that same role going forward. And there's no reason why our past should continue to be something that holds us back. I think we should look to the future with confidence. We are the 5th largest country in the world. We have a lot to be proud of. And we are in a very regionally strategic location, surrounded by large economies, and also by Central Asia, where trade is likely to be very, very vigorous going forward. So that, I think, is the reason why overseas Pakistanis should be excited about the Roshan digital account and investing in the country's future through it. Finally, before I turn to Irfan Saab, let me just end with a request. As I said, we brought this product for overseas Pakistanis. It is for you. And in the UAE, I'm glad to say people have really taken to it well. The UAE is number 1 in terms of funds. About a third of the funds that we have received, 1.3 billion, are coming from the UAE. And the UAE is number 2 in terms of accounts. 20% of the accounts that have been opened, the more than 158,000 accounts that have been opened, have been from the UAE. So we've got a lot of good response. But as Ambassador Saab said at the beginning, there is about 1.8 or 2 million Pakistanis living in the UAE. So we are still only scratching the surface. So my request to you is, please try a Roshan digital account. If you like it, please tell 10 other friends or family about it so that this word can be spread. If you have some feedback for us, if you want us to bring some new products, please write to us at our email, which is rdasupport@sbp.org.pk. And we are committed to bringing more and more products through the Roshan digital account infrastructure, and to be there to address any problems that you have. We really have focused on implementation. I think that is one of the reasons why Roshan digital account has been able to take off in the way that it has in the last 9 months. We have great hopes going forward, but we do need your help in getting the word out. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your attention and turn it back to Sajid sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Murtaza. I think the level of confidence and the level of excitement is already out there. It's just that the more outreach the way State Bank is doing right now, that will help to reinforce and reiterate those messages. And those are important. And here I would like to invite Irfan Saab to Sayyid Irfan Ali, Managing Director, Deposit Protection Corporation, State Bank of Pakistan, to share more detailed feature set of the Roshan digital account. So over to you, Irfan Saab.
Thank you so much, Sajid. I think if somebody, Kashif, can put on the presentation, that will be really nice. Okay, while Kashif does that, one is that I think Murtaza Saab has pointed out quite clearly on what were the objectives. If you can take it to the full screen, please, that would be really helpful. So if Murtaza Saab just told you about the key features of Roshan digital account. And so if you look at the real context of RDA, that was that there are 9 million Pakistanis approximately living all over the world. Bulk of them live in the Middle East, but due to immigration, a lot of them can be found in Canada, Australia, New Zealand. So the number of accounts that Murtaza have told you about, 160,000, they have been opened in 170 countries. These 170 countries range from Peru in South America to Papua New Guinea, to Burundi in Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, you name it, New Zealand, Fiji. So Pakistanis, as you'll be very proud that They have opened these Russian digital accounts ranging from one part of the world to another, and 170 countries are now represented here. Then the second most objective, I think I would call it the first objective. I mean, I'm only raising it the second time. That is Dur Reh Kar Bhi Paas. So we wanted the Pakistanis to connect, the non-resident Pakistanis to connect with Pakistan. So we wanted them to come closer. And that is why we said it is lifestyle. And that is why we said that it is presenceless. So it is digital, it is presenceless. And any Pakistani, wherever he lives, can, pay the electricity bills of his dad, the water bills, the gas bills, the tuition fees, the college fees. He can buy Warda clothes. He can go to Kadi. He can go to Sana Safinas. He can go to Nishat. He can buy cinema tickets. He can do whatever wherever he is sitting in the world. So we have opened a host of opportunities for non-resident Pakistanis. And most importantly, they can invest. So that is why we called it presenceless. So it is indeed presenceless. It is digital. Then we provide a lot of investments, which I'll be talking about later in the presentation, and repatriability. So Pakistanis, so wherever you are in the world, your money is repatriable. Whatever money you bring in, you can take it back as and when you want to do it immediately. There is no need to come to the Central Bank of Pakistan. The bank, there is zero bureaucracy. All you need to do is make a request to your bank in Pakistan, and they will send your money back. And that's it, period. Nothing more. Absolutely, this is it. It is now happening. Now, most importantly, the amount of money that has come in is equally important. And as Junaid sir told you, that it's a bit more than that. It's $1.25 billion, 160,000 accounts. And don't forget that Pakistanis in the past 10 months till April 2021 had already sent $24 billion, which was a record, which was, this has never been achieved in the previous years, although we were doing well in the previous years. But inshallah, we hope that by the 30th of June this year, Pakistanis would have already sent about $28 billion through remittances. And this $1.2 billion Roshan is over and above that money that is coming in. And bulk of it is investments. So can we go to the next slide, please? The 12 banks in all, when we began the scheme, Roshan Digital Account, there were only 8, but we have recently added Dubai Islamic Bank, Habib Metro, and Bank of Punjab, and that is why Dubai Islamic is now holding this webinar today. And you have a number of options as to how you can open an account. You can simply go to the State Bank's website that is mentioned at the top, or you can visit the websites of these banks, including Dubai Islamic Bank, and they will help you open that account. Can we go to the next page, please? These are the documents that are required. I'll not read them through, but I'll just let you know that this is the simplest form of documentation that was possible and given in the FATF environment that we are in. But the Pakistanis should be very proud of the fact that Pakistan is now fully FATF compliant as far as the financial sector is concerned. So your financial sector has complied with FATF requirements, and that is stated. So under the FATF targets that were set, we are in the last leg. Pakistan is complying with it. So, but we have done a great job as far as performance is concerned. So, but I would like you to consider point 10 here on the left that says Fatca and Crs. So if you are an American national, that has to be reported. And in this era where everybody is paying taxes, Pakistan is a signatory to common reporting standards. That is a declaration. Pakistani taxpayers that live abroad, their information is shared with their respective tax authorities. So if you are a Canadian national, an American, or a European, your Russian digital accounts would be shared with them. So be careful that wherever, if you are excuse me, if you are a resident, if you have Canadian nationality, be careful. You'll have to inform the Canadian authorities that you have opened this account. On the right are the, I'll talk about tax a bit more. On the right are the documents that are required, your CNIC, NICOP, POC. So you just have to establish link. The rest is standard documentation that you will need wherever, whenever you need to open an account, wherever in the world. But this is all digital. We have a live photo. The signatures are digital. All your documents are uploaded. And if needed, you can have a video chat with your bank as well. And banks are also carrying out, excuse me for a second. The banks are also hand-holding, and if you are feeling any problem, and we have had a number of such incidences, that you can call your bank and they will walk you through the application process. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, this account offers a suite of lifestyle products. Like I told you, you can pay your bills, you can invest in Nia Pakistan certificates, you can invest in stocks, and you can buy property. Investment in pay bills, I told you that is purely digital, that is e-commerce. All you need to do is open an account and your bank will help do that. Invest in Nia Pakistan certificates. There have been a lot of questions as to, on Nia Pakistan certificates. So this is the flagship product, and it has already generated in excess of $800 million. And the rates that are being offered in Nia Pakistan certificates are unheard of. In rupee, you can get almost 11%. In dollar terms, you can go as high as 7%. In euro, it is 6.5%. So these are phenomenal rates that are not available to resident Pakistanis. These rates are only available to non-resident Pakistanis like yourself, including our staff who work in embassies. Then you can invest in stocks. Investment in stocks is very easy. All you need to do is, and most importantly, the difference here is that if you invest in stocks, customer due diligence will not be repeated. Whatever information you have given to your bank, if with your permission, it will be shared with your stockbroker. And that's it. CDC is involved in the middle, so that means your money is safe. So when you pay for the shares, you'll get the stocks in return and you'll have a statement. Similarly, you can buy property as well. Can we go to the next slide? These are the new features that were added. New features primarily are that Nia Pakistan certificate is available in euro and Great Britain pound in addition to rupee and dollars. There is very simple tax treatment, full and on the money, on the RD account, there is no tax at all. That means if you open a Roshan digital account, there is no tax. But the profit that you make on New Pakistan certificate, there will be 10% full and final withholding tax, and that's it. And you don't need to file any tax return in Pakistan. Similarly, the ambassador was referring to delays and others. Yes, there have been such incidences. So I would request such Pakistanis to refer their complaints to our mail, and that is rdasupport@sbp.org.pk, and this presentation will also be shared with you. But what we have done most importantly is that correspondent banks are those banks that connect the UAE based banks with Pakistan, and we have asked them to reduce their charges, and most of them have reduced their charges to between $5 and $9. So that this amount used to be as high as $50. So this amount is very low now. So it's 5 to 9 per transaction. But yes, I think we can definitely have a look at as to why dollars being remitted are delayed. But that may probably because of correspondent arrangements, and we will definitely like to address that. Expanding products, as you can see, non-resident Pakistanis can now borrow in Pakistan from the local banks and buy Roshan apni car. And if you are a close observant of the Pakistan auto market, you will know that they are flourishing. their business has actually doubled in the past couple of years. And if you book a car, let's say a Toyota or a Honda, they will give you 6 months, 8 months, 4 months delivery times. But for the Roshan digital account customers, Roshan Apni Car, they are committed to give you this car within 1 month. And and so far we have close to about 500 applicants. That is in about 20 days post Eid, and Pakistanis are taking it by storm. Similarly, we have a Roshan Samaji Khidmat. This means that you can use your Roshan digital account to give, to donate money to charities, to hospitals, to NGOs. There will be a list of NGOs that your bank, as far as I know, Dubai Islamic Bank is connected to about 150 such institutions. Can we go to the next slide, please? I think I've told you about Roshan Apni Car, but the salient features are that the insurance rate is low, the application process is digital, the markup rate is as low as 7%. It's available in both Sharia and conventional, very fast delivery times, and flexible tenders. Roshan Samaji Khidmat is the next slide, please. I've already talked about it. So you can donate to the SAS program, you can give zakat, you can give to any charity that you choose, that your bank chooses to serve. Can we go to the next slide, please? So these are the rates that I've already talked about. But most importantly, I think from Dubai Islamic Bank's context, Dubai Islamic, as you know, is an Islamic bank. All these products, the Nya Pakistan products, are available in the Sharia version as well. So Pakistanis can invest in the Islamic banking products, in Islamic government products with the same confidence. So that's the point to note as far as the Nya Pakistan certificates is concerned. And I'll come to the last slide if you go there. Yes. So what we are trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, participants, is that we are ensuring good customer journey experience. So that's the mandate. We've ensured that. So that is why I will get worried if there are delays or there are security risks, or there are charges that are beyond normal. So we will be very, very worried with that. So we have tried to ensure that the non-resident Pakistanis get an excellent digital experience. Their information is safe. They are not charged beyond what is a normal charge, and they get the rate of returns that are exceptional, so that they are attracted to Pakistan and can serve their loved ones at the same time. And most importantly, dur rehkar bhi paas. We want Pakistanis connected. So the journey has just started. We are only at 160,000 accounts. We want them to be 9 million in a quick time. We're adding banks. And I'd like to thank every participant here and Dubai Islamic Bank for arranging the webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Irfan Sab. Thank you very much. And that brings out us to our panel discussion. And in the panel, we will be joined by हमारे साथ होंगे Dr. Murtaza Syed Irfan Ali from State Bank, and Junaid Ahmed from Dubai Islamic Bank, Shabnam Mahmood as well, who is Shabnam Mohammed, who is the CEO of Tel Group and also director for Dubai Islamic Bank, Suhail Beg from Emar, we will be talking about real estate a little bit, and Raza Jisani, who is heading the strategic planning and analytics and also on the board of and a board member of Dubai Islamic Bank. So ये सारे लोग हमारे साथ होंगे और इस चीज को हम आगे लेके चलेंगे as a discussion. और इस डिस्कशन में जो हमारे लिए एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है वो है आप लोगों की एज अ ऑडियंस पार्टिसिपेशन. हम कुछ डिस्कशन करेंगे, कुछ सवालात जो उठाए गए हैं या उठाने चाहिए, या कुछ सवाल जिनके जवाब चाहिए होंगे इस वक्त, उनको हम यहाँ पे एक्सप्लोर करेंगे. लेकिन सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट ये है कि आपके सवालात जो हैं उनको हम लास्ट 10-15 मिनट्स में उन क्वेश्चंस को भी हम आंसर कर सकें और एड्रेस कर सकें. So we will start with Dr. Murtaza. Dr. Murtaza, आपने अभी शुरू में इकोनॉमी के हवाले से और कॉन्फिडेंस के हवाले से बात की थी. اب اس میں 2-3 چیزیں ہیں جو سوال بہت زیادہ ہمارے پاس آ رہے ہوتے ہیں. ایک تو آج سے 23 سال پہلے کا ایک ریفرنس بار بار آتا ہے کہ 1998 میں اگر ایک انسیڈنٹ تھا جہاں پہ فارن کرنسی اکاؤنٹ سیز ہوئے تھے, تو کیا under the current regulation and the current policy measures, is there any possibility people should be fear or concerned about that? So that's what we will start with. Dr. Murtaza.
جی تھینک یو سجید صاحب. یہ سوال ہمیں کافی آتا ہے جب بھی ہم ویبینارز کرتے ہیں. اس کے 2-3 طریقے ہیں اس کو آنسر کرنے کے. ایک تو سب سے پہلے یہ ہے کہ 2001 میں ایک نیا لا بھی پاس ہو گیا ہے, اس کا نام ہے فارن کرنسی اکاؤنٹ پروٹیکشن آرڈیننس. اس کے تحت جس طرح کی چیز 1998 میں ہوئی تھی وہ اب پاکستان میں لیگلی پاسبل نہیں ہے. تو اس کا ایک ہی لیگل آنسر ہے کہ اب وہ پروٹیکشن دے دی گئی ہے فارن کرنسی اکاؤنٹس کو, انکلوڈنگ روشن ڈیجیٹل اکاؤنٹس کو, کیونکہ وہ بھی فارن کرنسی اکاؤنٹس ہیں, کہ اب اس طرح کی چیز جس طرح 1998 میں انفارچونیٹلی کرنی پڑی تھی گورنمنٹ کو, وہ اب نہیں کرنی پڑے گی, اب وہ کر نہیں پائیں گے, بیکاز دیز اکاؤنٹس آر ناٹ پروٹیکٹیڈ انڈر دا لا. دوسری چیز میرا خیال ہے یہ امپورٹنٹ ہے کہ ہماری سچویشن اب بڑی ڈفرینٹ ہے 1998 سے. جس طرح میں بتانے کی کوشش کر رہا تھا کہ اکنامک انڈیکیٹرز بھی بہتر ہیں, اور کرنٹ اکاؤنٹ ڈیفیسٹ اور فارن ایکسچینج ریزروز, جب ان دونوں چیزوں کے اوپر پریشر آتا ہے تو پھر آپ کو تھوڑا تھوڑا خدشہ ہو سکتا ہے کہ شاید ملک جو ہے اس کو IMF کے پاس جانا پڑے اور کوئی مسئلے نہ ہو جائیں. اس دفعہ جس طرح میں نے کہا کرنٹ اکاؤنٹ کی سچویشن بہت ڈفرینٹ ہے. 2 سال پہلے $19 بلین کا ڈیفیسٹ تھا, اس سال پہلے 10 مہینے کے بعد $1 بلین کا سرپلس ہے. اس طرح کبھی نہیں ہوا پہلے 17 سالوں میں. دوسری چیز ایکسچینج ریٹ کو اب ہم نے فلیکسیبل کر دیا ہے, پڑے گا بھی ایک کرنٹ اکاؤنٹ کے اوپر تو ایکسچینج ریٹ اس کو ایکویلیبریٹ کرے گا. کبھی ایسا نہیں ہوگا کہ ہمارا کرنٹ اکاؤنٹ پھر سے اس طرح بڑھنا شروع ہو جائے جس طرح پہلے تھا, کیونکہ اب ہماری ایکسچینج ریٹ اس کو ہینڈل کرے گی. تیسری چیز اگر آپ ریزروز کو دیکھیں تو ہماری ریزروز کی سچویشن آج بہت بہتر ہے 2 سال پہلے کے مقابلے میں. 2 سال پہلے ہماری ریزرو صرف $7 بلین رہ گئی تھی, جو بہت کم اماؤنٹ تھا. اب ہماری ریزرو جو ہے وہ $16 بلین سے بھی تجاوز کر چکی ہیں, تقریباً ڈبلنگ ہو گئی ہے ہماری ریزرو. تو ہماری میکرو سچویشن بھی بہت بہتر ہو گئی ہے پہلے سے, اس لیے یہ بھی کانفیڈنس ہے. اور تیسری بات جو میں کہنا چاہوں گا وہ یہ بھی ہے کہ ہماری جو آئی تھنک ساری گورنمنٹ بھی ہے اور جو باقی پولیٹیکل پارٹیز بھی ہیں, انہوں نے بھی ایک لیسن لرن کیا ہے 1998 سے, کہ وہ جو کیا انہوں نے, جو کرنا پڑا تھا گورنمنٹ کو, وہ ایک اچھی چیز نہیں تھی, اور اس سے کافی دیر تک انویسٹر کانفیڈنس پہ اثر پڑتا رہا. تو آئی تھنک ایک یونانیمس اب ایک کنسنسس ہے کہ اس طرح کی چیز پھر سے نہیں ہونی چاہیے. اور فائنلی میں یہ بھی کہوں گا اپنے اوورسیز پاکستانیز کو کہ ہمیشہ پیچھے اگر ہم دیکھتے رہیں گے تو پھر کبھی ہم آگے نہیں بڑھ سکیں گے. اگر ہمیشہ ہم یہ سوچتے رہیں گے کہ 1998 میں کیونکہ ایک چیز ہو گئی تھی خراب چیز, آگے جا کے یہ مسئلہ پھر سے نہ ہو جائے, تو پھر ہم کبھی بھی اس لو گروتھ اور نیگیٹو مائنڈ سیٹ سے نکل نہیں سکیں گے. آئی تھنک ایک آپٹیمزم کے ساتھ ہمیں فیوچر کی طرف دیکھنا چاہیے. جس طرح میں نے کہا اب لیگل پروویژنز بھی آ گئی ہیں, ہماری اکنامک سچویشن بھی بہت بہتر ہے, اور آئی تھنک ایک کنسنسس آ گیا ہے اکراس آل دا پالیسی میں کہ یہ اس طرح کی چیز اگر ہم رپیٹ کریں گے تو بہت خطرناک ہوگا ہماری انویسٹر کانفیڈنس کے لیے. تو یہ میرا خیال ہے سجید صاحب, دس از دی آنسر ٹو دی کوسچن.
No, thank you. I think it's been, if I summarize it, or you have summarized it very well. So there is a legal protection and there is no economic pressure to take any action. So overall, جو protection اس وقت available ہے وہ ایک legal perspective سے بھی اور economic perspective سے بھی available ہے. Luckily, we have got His Highness Afzal Mahmood with us, and I think یہاں پہ ایک بڑا important question افضال صاحب آپ کے لیے ہے. جب روشن ڈیجیٹل اکاؤنٹ کو دیکھتے ہیں ہم, تو دیٹس ون آف اے انیشیٹو جو کہ بڑا ایک انکلوسیو انیشیٹو ہے, جہاں پہ ایکسپیٹ پاکستانیوں کو پاکستان کی اکانومی میں جل ان کیا گیا اور ایک فیسیلیٹیٹ کیا گیا ود اے ویری اسپیسیفک کسٹمر سینٹریسٹی, جس میں کسٹمر کے لحاظ سے چیزیں ڈیولپ ہوئی ہیں. آپ کا جو جرنل انٹریکشن پاکستانی کمیونٹی سے وہاں پہ ہو رہا ہے, ہاؤ دے سی, وی نو دیٹ کہ ہر چیز کا اپنا ایک پروگریشن ہوتا ہے, ڈیولپمنٹ میں تھوڑے سے ایشوز آتے ہیں, and the way the entire setup is there, so it's improving. If we see from a day one to now, it's improved. So journal جو لوگوں کا ایک impression ہے on a Roshan digital account اور پاکستان کی economy کے حوالے سے, اس پہ اگر آپ کوئی تھوڑا سا کمنٹ کرنا چاہیں. His Highness افضال محمود صاحب.
thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity to speak again. پہلی بات تو یہ کہ جو نمبرز ابھی اسٹیٹ بینک نے بتائے ہیں اس سے بات سمجھ میں آتی ہے کہ اوورسیز ہیو لاٹ آف کانفیڈنس آن دس فیسلٹی, اور خاص طور پہ UAE میں, چونکہ ایسے نہیں ہے کہ صرف لیبر کلاس ہے اور کافی لوگ جو پڑھے لکھے ہیں چیزوں کو سمجھتے ہیں, اینڈ دے آر ہیلپنگ ایچ ادر اینڈ وی آر ہیلپنگ دیم ٹو انڈرسٹینڈ دس اسکیم اینڈ ٹو بینیفٹ فرام دیٹ. تو یہاں تو رسپانس بہت اچھا ہے, اور جس طرح سے ہماری باقی اپنی پرائمری رسپانسبلٹی ہے ڈپلومیٹک ریلیشنز کی. اسی طرح سے اسی سینس میں ہم نے ڈیجیٹل اکاؤنٹ کو بھی ایز ون آف دا میجر نیشنل انٹرسٹ کے طور پہ ہم نے اس کو لیا، اور ہم اسی طرح سے اس کو پروموٹ کر رہے ہیں. اینڈ دا تھرڈ تھنگ از، اینڈ آئی ایم تھینکفل ٹو اسٹیٹ بینک دیٹ دیئر رسپانس از کوئک. وہ ہماری آبزرویشن جو بھی ہیں، ہم ڈیلی بیسس پہ ان کے ساتھ انٹریکٹ کر رہے ہیں. ہمیں جو بھی آبزرویشن آتی ہے، ای میل سے آتی ہے یا ہمیں میل میں آتی ہے یا لوگ ہمیں پرسنلی بھی بتاتے ہیں، وی کنوے ٹو دیم اینڈ گیٹ رسپانس آن دیٹ. تو تیسری چیز یہ ہے کہ مہینے میں تقریباً جو اسی طرح کے فارمیٹ سے وی انٹریکٹ ود دا کمیونٹی. اپنا اوپن ہاؤس کرتے ہیں ہم، کھلی کچہری کہیں آپ اس کو، انٹریکشن کہیں، جو بھی کہیں. تو اٹ از اوپن ٹو آل. تو وی ہیو اباؤٹ 100+ پیپل ہو جوائن اس، اور یہ چل جاتی ہے 3-4 گھنٹے چھنٹے. یہ ہمارا پروگرام اسی طرح سے انٹریکٹیو چلتا ہے. اینڈ دیٹ گیٹس اس فیڈ بیک فرام دا پیپل. اور وہ بڑا کھل کے لوگ بات کرتے ہیں جس طرح کی کرنی ہوتی ہے، اور اس کے ہم نوٹس بھی لیتے ہیں، لوگوں کا کانٹیکٹ بھی لیتے ہیں. اور پہلے والے کا تو بلکہ وی کنیکٹڈ ڈائریکٹلی ود دا اسٹیٹ بینک. تو کام شام انٹرسٹنگ ہے. another thing is that we are getting lot of questions from the foreigner, the other diplomat. They ask us کہ جی ہمیں پتہ چلا ہے کہ پاکستان نے کوئی اس طرح کی اسکیم شروع کی ہے which is very successful. تو ہمارے ریجن کے کنٹریز بھی اور باہر کے لوگ بھی اور پیپل فرام دا ڈیولپڈ کنٹری، ویسٹرن ورلڈ کے لوگ بھی پوچھتے ہیں ہم سے کہ جی ہاؤ ہیز اٹ ہیپنڈ اینڈ ہاؤ یو آر ڈوئنگ اٹ. تو یہ ہمارا آئی تھنک اٹ از گیونگ اس این ایج اپنا اس کے اوپر بھی، ڈپلومیٹک فرنٹ پہ بھی، کہ لوگ اس کو اپریشیٹ کر رہے ہیں. یہاں پہ 2 چیزیں اور ابھی میرے پاس 2 کویشچنز آئے ہیں جو I would put across. And if somebody from the State Bank or any one of you have یہ دونوں ذرا ٹیکنیکل چیزیں، میرے پاس اس کا بالکل کلیئر جواب نہیں تھا، تو میں اس لیے آپ کو ریفر کر رہا ہوں. ایک اور کہہ رہے ہیں کہ جی اوورسیز پاکستانی میں بی پرووائڈیڈ ود ای سہولت فیسلٹی تھرو نادرا فار پرچیز آف کار اینڈ پراپرٹی. تو یہ ای سہولت فیسلٹی، یہ اگر تھوڑا کوئی ایکسپلین کر سکیں سو دیٹ آن یور بہاف وی آر ایبل ٹو ایکسپلین وین وی انٹریکٹ ود دا پیپل. دوسرا وہ یہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ جو اسٹیٹ بینک ہے یہ گفٹ کار اسکیم کے اوپر جو کلیئرنس بھجواتا ہے دوسرے بینکس کو، آئی تھنک اس سے بینک، ان کا مطلب یہی ہے کہ جس بینک کے تھرو انہوں نے پیمنٹ کرنی ہے پاکستان میں، تو وہ کہتے ہیں کہ جو اسٹیٹ بینک سے کلیئرنس جاتی ہے اور پی آر سی، آئی ڈو ناٹ نو وٹ پی آر سی از. تو یہ اگر تھوڑا سا کلیریفائی کر لیں کہ یہ پی آر سی کیا ہے، اور کلیئرنس ڈاکومنٹ جو اوورسیز پاکستانی ٹو ریسیو، ہاں یہ بینک کی برانچ میں جو گفٹ اسکیم سے ریلیٹڈ ہے، وہ کہتے ہیں جی ان میں یہ دیر سے پہنچتے ہیں. تھینک یو.
Thank you. Thank you. Points हमने note किए, and I think we will be bringing it out in the one of a discussion. And thank you for interacting with all the non-resident Pakistani and leading their voice to the regulator. So we really appreciate, and that's a good one. And rightly picked up in terms of how this Roshan digital account is creating an interest. We are ACCA, we work in 170 countries. We are also getting some queries about whether the non-Pakistani can invest in Pakistan using this facility. So that's a question which keep coming back to us as well. Here I would like to bring Mr. Raza Jisani in the conversation. And ہمیں اندازہ ہے کہ دبئی اسلامک بینک UAE جو ہے یا پیرنٹ کمپنی جو ہے وہ بڑا ایکٹیولی انگیجڈ ہے RDA کی ڈیولپمنٹ میں. سو اگر آپ تھوڑا سا رضا صاحب اگر if you can share that کہ what are the key features Dubai Islamic Bank is bringing into that product اور اس کا road map کس طرح ڈیولپ ہو رہا ہے, تو that would be great.
Thank you, Sajid. Sajid, before I go into that, I just want to give some statistics about the number of Pakistani customers what we have in DIB UAE as well. So if you see DIB UAE, we are blessed with the number of customers. Every third bankable customer is banking with DIB, Dubai Islamic Bank UAE. And we have got around 2 million customers. Out of that, 175,000 customers are the non-resident Pakistani, which are basically Pakistani, customers, which is more or less, 8 to 10%. We have got, since we have introduced this RDA, for our Pakistani customers, we have set up what you call it, the NRP solution desk as well. So if any person who wants to open this account, if we get stuck in something, okay, we are there to help him with the collaboration of DIB Pakistan as well. So, and and we have got different segment of the customers. We started from the mass customer, the affluent customers, and high net worth as well. So good thing about RDA, it is not only confined to the high net worth. If you see the ticket size, it's very low. So anyone, irrespective whether it's a blue collar or white collar, he can open an account there. So we are there, and just to let you know that out of the 175 customers, we already approached 35,000 customers to whom we have sent the SMSs and email and everything, and we can see a good number of conversions as well. So the response is very overwhelming. We are expecting more and more customers to come and just open an account, RD account. One more thing which I would like to highlight, we are also in the stage of coming up with the Islamic leverage product as well, and it will be a game changer, for our customers. And if you see the number of other banks, none of them is offering this Islamic product. They have got the conventional piece as well, but we are the only one who is about to offer this. We already got an approval from the Sharia, from the legal, and everyone. So we are coming up with this. The good thing about let's say, if you see the RDA, it has got 4 vertical. One is started with paying the utilities bill, the Naya Pakistan certificate, the stocks, investment in stocks, and second thing, buying the properties as well. If you take only the standalone Naya Pakistan certificate, if you see the other banks in the leverage product what they are offering, and Islamic product, no one is offering Islamic product, by the way. Okay, so we'll be the first one, inshallah, who will come up with this. Field work and the homework is about to complete, and if you see the competitive rates, because the customers are very, very, what you call it, the profit savvy on account of on the commercial piece. It is more or less the same what other banks are offering. So just to let you know that to the entire panel, to the entire people, that okay, we are coming up with this product. We are hopeful, inshallah, that we will break all the boundaries as well. So only it's a matter of time, but crossing our fingers, and it will be there very soon.
Thank you, Reza Sahab. Thank you very much for your comment. And you touched upon the real estate as one of our investment opportunity and the Sharia compliant products. So definitely Dubai Islamic Bank से लोगों की तवक्कात भी यही है कि जो इन्वेस्टमेंट दुबई इस्लामिक बैंक के थ्रू आ रही होगी वो शरिया कंप्लाइंट होगी, और ये एक अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है लोगों के लिए दुबई इस्लामिक बैंक की प्रोडक्ट्स को फर्दर एक्सप्लोर करना अंडर रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट. बट रियल एस्टेट्स के लिहाज से इरफान साहब, आई जस्ट वांट टू पिक वन पॉइंट देयर. यहाँ पे एक लोगों का सवाल आ रहा है, बहुत से लोग जो मिडिल ईस्ट में इस वक्त काम कर रहे हैं वो अपना पहला घर बनाने की साइट पे जा रहे हैं, और लो कॉस्ट हाउसिंग स्कीम और उससे रिलेटेड जो सब्सिडीज अवेलेबल हैं. तो सवाल ये है कि क्या रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट के थ्रू अगर वो कोई प्रॉपर्टी बाय करते हैं, क्या वो एलिजिबल हैं उस सब्सिडाइज्ड इंटरेस्ट रेट और उस लो कॉस्ट हाउसिंग स्कीम के बेनिफिट के लिए? इरफान साहब.
जी सजीद, अभी अनफॉर्चुनेटली ऐसा नहीं है. अभी ये वो स्कीम का हिस्सा नहीं है. अभी तो ये स्कीम काफ़ी लो इनकम लोगों के लिए की गई है. बट इस वक्त हमारे पास हम इस वक्त काम कर रहे हैं ऑलरेडी इसी एस्पेक्ट पे. हमारी एक कमेटी बनी हुई है जो 12 बैंक, जिसको मिज़ान बैंक लीड कर रहा है, और दुबई भी उसमें शामिल है, और इन लाइंस पे इस वक्त हम काम कर रहे हैं. अभी तो ये नॉन रेजिडेंट्स के लिए नहीं आई है, बट होपफुली जब ये कमेटी को फैसला करेगी तो उस वक्त इसके ऊपर फैसला होगा.
So thank you very much for that clarification. And the other investment product जिस पे एक certain level of excitement हमें नजर आ रही है वो है equity investments की. तो that's what we like to have some comment from Shabnam Mohammed, Director DIB. आप इस वक्त पाकिस्तान की स्टॉक मार्केट को एज अ इन्वेस्टमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी किस तरह देखते हैं, और रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट किस तरह इनेबल कर सकता है हमारे नॉन रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी को to really invest in that equity market?
Thank you, Sajid. Assalamualaikum, everyone. Essentially, the Pakistani Stock Exchange was one of the sort of best performing markets in Asia last year. In fact, it was even announced as being one of the 2, alongside Denmark last year, markets that in the year of COVID managed to outperform the markets. So there's been a lot of positive press around it. Of course, the Karachi Stock Exchange 100 index increased by around 7.5% during 2020. I'm talking from start to end. Obviously, in between there were some massive fluctuations, but it did recover very well. So from that perspective, it's been performing. The Pakistan Stock Exchange has been performing extremely well, and relatively speaking as well, not just in absolute terms. And this year, it's actually forecast to do considerably well too. And so far, 2021 has been very positive. So from that perspective, the Pakistan Stock Exchange is doing really, really well. Like all the other global markets last year, it did hit an all-time low, but the recovery was actually quite impressive, and that was led by multiple events within the country, of course, the government's decision to keep essential sectors open during the lockdown, the 1.2 trillion relief package to support businesses and obviously the underserved households. And of course, most importantly, was the state bank's progressive cuts in the benchmark rate down to 7% from 13%. That gave very strong cues to the market to maintain its growth trend. So this cut in interest rates was actually a big factor. Obviously, it helped businesses really help businesses stay profitable during the pandemic and lifted the general sentiment in the stock market. Now, of course, through the Roshan digital account, what we have is the opportunity for these individuals who are investing to be able to invest in the Pakistani stock market. It seems to be a relatively simple process from what I've understood so far. And in terms of having to file tax returns and all of that, there's also no need for certain things. A lot of things are done at source, for example, withholding tax on dividends or capital gains and so on. So from a market perspective, it's quite attractive. Obviously, we need to understand that there is a lot of, 90% of what we see in the press is based on 5% of the actual negativity. That is the reality. And for those who are willing to look beyond, obviously, what's happening in the media or what they see on the surface in the media and look into the opportunities that are available on the stock market, which, by the way, from an infrastructure perspective, is very advanced if you look at it on a relative basis in Southeast Asia and the neighboring markets. It's definitely an opportunity. You will see now at the moment, because of the way things have gone in the past year, there's a lot of undervalued opportunities too. So for sure, over the last year, you see people from all walks of life who have decided all of a sudden to make first-time equity investments in cryptocurrencies, in the equity markets, because of everything that's been going on. So I would say that this initiative with the Roshan digital account has actually come to the market at the perfect time as well, because it enables people to enter the market of Pakistan itself, but then also the stock exchange as well. So I would actually say that those people who are considering all these equity investments or cryptocurrency, they should also carry that enthusiasm into the Pakistani stock exchange and the investments in the capital markets, both equities and fixed income ultimately, which are providing very high yields. But yeah.
Thank you, Shabnam Saiba. I think it's important. हमारे जो इस वक्त ऑडियंस सुन रही है, अगर मैं इसको जस्ट सिंपली समराइज करूं तो पाकिस्तान की स्टॉक मार्केट रिलेटिव टर्म में बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रही है एंड शब्दम साहिबा ने डेफिनेटली इंकरेज किया है. अगर आप इक्विटी इन्वेस्टमेंट देख रहे हैं तो पाकिस्तान इज अ वन ऑफ अ डेस्टिनेशन, एक आपका एक अच्छा डेस्टिनेशन है जहां पे इक्विटी की ग्रोथ जो आ रही है इन रिसेंट पास्ट रिलेटिवली बहुत अच्छे तरीके से आ रही है. और रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट आपके लिए एक ऐसा टूल है, जब आप अकाउंट खोलते हैं साथ ही आप सीटीसी अकाउंट भी खोल लेते हैं और आपके लिए उसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट का जो अपॉर्चुनिटी बनती है वो एक अच्छे सिंपली तरीके से बन जाती है. और जैसे इरफान साहब ने भी बात की और मुर्तजा साहब ने भी हाईलाइट किया, रीपैट्रिएशन आई थिंक इन्वेस्टर के लिए एक बहुत अच्छा और इंपॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट होता है रीपैट्रिएशन का, कि मैंने इन्वेस्ट किया, रिटर्न लिए, और क्या मैं ये पैसा अगर मुझे जरूरत पड़ती है तो मैं वापस मंगवा सकता हूँ. तो ये वाली अपॉर्चुनिटी भी उसमें बहुत अच्छे तरीके से एग्जिस्ट करती है. अब इसी चीज को हम आगे लेके चलते हैं, जरा रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर को थोड़ा सा एनालाइज करते हैं कि पाकिस्तान की रियल एस्टेट मार्केट, जैसे अभी हमने शबनम साहब ने बताया कि पाकिस्तान की स्टॉक मार्केट की परफॉर्मेंस किस तरह चल रही है, तो इसी तरह पाकिस्तान की रियल एस्टेट मार्केट पे एक थोड़ा सा ओवरव्यू लेते हैं सुहेल बेग साहब से, हु इज द सीईओ ऑफ इमार पाकिस्तान. सो सुहेल साहब, अगर आप थोड़ा सा हमारी ऑडियंस को और हमें गाइड कर सकें कि पाकिस्तान की रियल एस्टेट मार्केट इस वक्त किस तरह चल रही है और उसमें क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज एग्जिस्ट करती हैं और लोग किस तरह आरडीए को, रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट को यूज करते हुए उस अपॉर्चुनिटी को अवेल कर सकते हैं. तो ओवर टू यू सुहेल साहब. सुहेल साहब, हम आपको प्रॉपरली सुन नहीं पा रहे इस वक्त, अगर आप एक दफा दोबारा अपने कनेक्शन को देख लें. सुहेल साहब, इट सीम्स दैट आपके पास एक कनेक्शन इशू आ रहा है. मैं अभी आपके पास वापस आता हूं. Meanwhile, if you can engage जुनेद साहब, सुहेल साहब आपने यही रहना, हम अभी वापस आते हैं. रियल एस्टेट बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया है जिसके ऊपर हमारी ऑडियंस बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्टेड भी होती है. जुनेद साहब, एक हम गुफ्तगू कर रहे हैं एक ओवरऑल इकोनॉमी के पर्सपेक्टिव से. तो अगर हम ओवरऑल गैप देखें पाकिस्तान के सोशो इकोनॉमिक इकोसिस्टम में, तो एज अ सिटीजन अगर हम बात करें, चाहे नॉन रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानी और रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानी, तो व्हाट वी नीड टू डू एज अ सिटीजन, हमें अपने वो कौन से बिहेवियर्स और हैबिट्स चेंज करनी है जो कि हमें एक तो बेनिफिट दे सके इस इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ का, और उसके साथ साथ हम कंट्रीब्यूट भी कर सकें अपनी फाइनेंशियल वेलबींग के हवाले से. जुनेद साहब, आप म्यूट पे हैं इस वक्त.
Thank you, Sajid. I hope Sohail gets his connection right because he's got a lot to speak about this real estate and we really want to hear him. About your question, there's a lot of room in improving the savings and inculcate saving habit right from the childhood. You know, that doesn't exist here. So in this regard, banks can play a role in coming up with a new and innovative products that can help create that saving habits, which will have a slow but far-reaching effect in the socio-economic fabric of the country. So this is how, once this starts and बचपन से अगर लोग इस पे थोड़ी सी अपनी सेविंग शुरू कर दें, तो वो एक फिर कल हमारी गुफ्तगू हुई थी स्टेट बैंक में, और डॉक्टर मुर्तज़ा साहब ने हमें मशवरा दिया कि आप जाके उन सेगमेंट्स को भी देखें जो कि ब्लू कॉलर हैं, जिनके पास कम वसाइल हैं, लेकिन वो चाहते हैं कि इस आरडीए प्रोग्राम में शामिल हो. तो एक बहुत उस पर यह होगा कि एक पॉपुलेशन बहुत बड़ी आ जाएगी. मुझे याद है कि जब मैं मिडल ईस्ट में काम करता था सजीद, तो उस जमाने में हम लेबर कैंप्स में जाकर और ड्राफ्ट बनवाते थे लेबर्स के साथ बैठ के, और वो उनको फैसिलिटेट करते थे. तो वो ऑब्वियसली अभी वो थोड़ा सिस्टम बेहतर हो गया, हर आदमी के पास मोबाइल है, और ऐप पे हमने हमारी जो मोबाइल ऐप है वन ऑफ द फाइनेस्ट ऐप दैट वी हैव डेवलप्ड. 6 मिनट के अंदर आरडीए का अकाउंट हम खोल रहे हैं अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. तो वो ये एक एरिया है जिसको हम देखना चाहेंगे. तो ये एक सेविंग हैबिट अगर बन जाती है और हम उस पर लार्जर पॉपुलेशन को इकट्ठे कर सकते हैं, तो इट विल बी a good thing for the investors, for those people, because they will have the advantage of investing in a much affluent piece of paper, and then obviously we as a Pakistan will also benefit from that.
No, thank you, जुनैद साहब. आई थिंक ये आपने बड़ा एक इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट रेज किया है कि हैबिट्स जो हमें अपनी चेंज करनी होती हैं, और वो चेंज कहाँ तक लीड करती है, जो नई चीज़ें इनिशिएटिव आते हैं उसमें किस तरह हम बेनिफिट कर सकते हैं. ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट एरिया है जो पाकिस्तान में डिस्कशन के लिए राइट नाउ इट्स ओपन. हमारी सेविंग हैबिट्स और इन्वेस्टमेंट हैबिट्स, दैट्स समथिंग व्हिच वी नीड टू लर्न एज वेल एज वी नीड टू कंट्रीब्यूट. एक चीज जो मेरे लिए बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है डिजिटलाइजेशन के हवाले से, और मेरा हमेशा आई वुड लाइक टू गेट सम कमेंट्स अराउंड इट, how that Roshan digital account is going to contribute on a ESG agenda. डॉक्टर मुर्तज़ा साहब, आपसे भी मेरा ये सवाल होगा, और शबनम साहिबा आपके हवाले से भी ये सवाल होगा कि इक्विटी इन्वेस्टमेंट में क्या इम्पैक्ट आता है जब आप ESG के इनिशिएटिव्स को देख रहे होते हैं. और डॉक्टर साहब आपके हवाले से भी आई विल ब्रिंग दैट क्वेश्चन टू यू. इसने कितनी हमारा पेपर वर्क जो है और ओवरऑल गवर्नेंस में, जिस तरह अभी बात की कि हम टोटल FATF के हवाले से हमारी फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर टोटल कंप्लाइंट है, तो ये डिजिटलाइजेशन किस तरह चेंज करती है ESG एंड SDGs एजेंडास को. सो डॉक्टर मुर्तज़ा साहब, फर्स्ट फ्रॉम योर साइड.
जी, थैंक यू सुजीत साहब, ये आपका बड़ा अच्छा सवाल है. एक तो आप ये देखें कि बाय मेकिंग एवरीथिंग डिजिटल थ्रू द रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट एंड minimizing paperwork, already we are contributing to ESG goals. आप environmentally friendly आप कर दिया आपने सब कुछ. आपको जो पहले आपको पेपर वर्क करना पड़ता था, आपको कागज़ पे चीज़ें करनी पड़ती थी, अब सब डिजिटल हो रही हैं. तो इससे आपका कार्बन फुटप्रिंट वैसे भी नीचे जा रहा है, और एक environmental के लिए गोल्स भी आपके मीट हो रहे हैं. दूसरा, थ्रू द रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट you can invest in certain stocks, for example, where you feel that the companies have a better ESG sort of outlook. अगर आपको लगता है कुछ कंपनीज जो हैं वो ज़्यादा कर रही हैं चीज़ environment के ऊपर, social goals के ऊपर, तो you can direct your investments towards them. At the same time, जिस तरह इरफान साहब ने कहा, ये जो हमारी रोशन समाजी खिदमत है, ये भी it allows you to make charitable contributions through your RDA accounts in those entities that you feel are doing a good job in Pakistan. Many of those, educational institutions, hospitals, charities are also espousing ESG goals. So up as a responsible citizen, as a responsible overseas Pakistani, you can only do your bit through your investments and your charitable giving as part of the Roshan digital account.
Thank you, Bursa Sahib. Shabnam Mohammed Saib. Any comment on ESG and how the equity valuation may change, and what is the guidance for the corporate entities and even the charitable institute, how to encourage and get more charity or investment driven through the ESG initiative?
So there's a couple of angles here. I mean, first I would start with just looking at the concept of the digital account, right? For you can get environmental benefits, not just from reducing the carbon footprint, obviously, by eliminating the use of paper, and obviously just the energy consumption that is saved from things like smart offices, or the reduction of commuter-related emissions from people having to go and actually have this location-independent access to accounts that we have through the RDA. But then when we're talking from a purely equity investment perspective, ESG has become increasingly important for all stakeholders within a company now. The board level requires it, NGOs require it, investors require it, and generally they see actually more value in it actually for the companies. Companies that are focused on ESG tend to actually benefit in terms of valuations as well. And when we look at that in combination with digitalization, it obviously not only enhances the agility of the organizations, but it also enables them to effectively measure different aspects of their daily operations, which in turn enables them to have higher levels of transparency, which is obviously your G in the ESG, your governance is increased. And then also, which obviously governance is a very key factor within the ESG from an investor standpoint, but also from the board of directors. But also in terms of optimizing things like their supply chain or their value chains or the behavior of customers changing, they're able to use and utilize the data more and more in order to be able to then sort of reflect upon the footprint that they have from an economics perspective or an environmental perspective, from a green perspective, and even sustainability. So it's more about utilizing all of that data from within the digital age. To then, effectively measure different aspects of the ESG sort of requirements for each company. But in terms of valuations, for sure, it's become an absolute necessity. In fact, there are a number of investor bases who ultimately refuse to invest in companies that are not that do not have ESG on their agenda when it comes to their board level.
No, thank you, Shabnam Sahib. And I totally agree that particularly our upcoming generation, if we look at the Generation Z and the young population in Pakistan, outside Pakistan, they are very aware and woke around once it's come to the ESG side, और वो अपने parents और family को भी इसमें बड़ी हद तक awareness भी generate कर रहे हैं. और RDA definitely is one of our initiative जो कि उनके लिए ESG perspective से भी एक considerable option है कि why we should go for RDA rather than going through a paper-based money transfer trails. Suhail Saab, if Suhail Saab is with us, Kashif, if you can confirm. Suhail Saab from MR. Okay, meanwhile we are waiting for Suhail Saab, so we go back to Irfan Saab. Irfan Saab, आपने शुरू में एक टच किया था टैक्सेशन पर्सपेक्टिव से. आई थिंक टैक्सेशन और ट्रांजैक्शन कॉस्ट ये एक बड़ी मेजर कंसिडरेशन होती है हमारे एक्सपेट पाकिस्तानियों के लिए जब वो अमाउंट इन्वेस्ट कर रहे होते हैं या पाकिस्तान में भेज रहे होते हैं. यू टच्ड अपॉन दैट एंड आई वुड लाइक टू एक्सपैंड ऑन दैट. आपने बताया कि जो हमारे बैंक्स हैं जैसे दुबई इस्लामिक बैंक है वो किसी किस्म की ट्रांजैक्शन फी लोकल बैंक्स जो हैं वो ट्रांजैक्शन फी चार्ज नहीं कर रहे होंगे, सिर्फ कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग बैंक जो है वो एक सर्टेन अमाउंट चार्ज कर रहे होंगे। और दूसरी आपने टैक्सेशन की रजीम की बात की थी जो बड़ी लेटेस्ट डेवलपमेंट है, अगर हम इसको थोड़ा सा एक्सपैंड कर सकते हैं, टैक्सेशन फर्स्ट और फिर हम ट्रांजैक्शन कॉस्ट पे आते हैं।
चलें जी, थैंक यू सो मच। देखें, एक तो इनकम टैक्स ऑर्डिनेंस पाकिस्तानीज़ को डिफाइन करती है बिटवीन रेजिडेंट्स एंड नॉन रेजिडेंट्स, सिंपली पुट। सो जब आप नॉन रेजिडेंट होते हैं तो रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आपको किसी किस्म की कोई टैक्स फाइलिंग नहीं करनी है। सो दैट इज़ द फर्स्ट पार्ट। और जो आपका जो रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट है उसके ऊपर कोई टैक्स लागू ही नहीं है। और जो नया पाकिस्तान सर्टिफिकेट है उसके ऊपर आप पर 10% विदहोल्डिंग टैक्स प्रॉफिट पे लगता है, जो जब प्रॉफिट आपको अदा किया जाएगा तो वो उस वक्त काट लिया जाएगा, और एंड दैट्स इट। और उसके बाद 1 रुपया चार्ज नहीं होगा और आपको पाकिस्तान में रिटर्न फाइल नहीं करनी। याद रखिएगा कि जो रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट है ये इंडिविजुअल्स के लिए, नॉन रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानी इंडिविजुअल्स, इसमें हमने कंपनीज या कॉर्पोरेट्स के लिए ये ओपन नहीं किया। ये हमारे पाकिस्तानी जो ब्लू कॉलर्ड हों चाहे वाइट कॉलर्ड हों, ये उनके लिए है, सैलरीड हों ना हो, बिजनेसमैन भी ज़ाती कैपेसिटी में हो। अगर तो आप ऐसे इंडिविजुअल हैं जो सैलरीड हैं तो फिर तो आपको कोई इशू नहीं है, अगर आप बिजनेसमैन हैं तब भी इशू नहीं है। हाउएवर, अगर आप बिजनेस पाकिस्तान में भी करते हैं और दुबई में भी करते हैं फिर आपके लिए एक सवाल ज़रूर पैदा होता है। इसलिए उधर हमारी एडवाइस ये है कि दैट इज़ वेयर चीज़ें थोड़ी सी कॉम्प्लिकेट होती हैं। इसलिए बेहतर है कि आप पाकिस्तान में अपने टैक्स लॉयर या अकाउंटेंट से बात करें, वो आपको ज़्यादा तफसील से बता सकेगा। जहाँ तक इंडिविजुअल्स का सवाल है, मैं रिपीट कर देता हूँ, उनको सिर्फ रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट पे तो कुछ भी नहीं है। अभी चार्जेस की मैं बात बाद में करता हूँ। कोई टैक्स नहीं है। नया पाकिस्तान सर्टिफिकेट पे जो प्रॉफिट मिलेगा उस पर 10% टैक्स है। नॉन रेजिडेंट को पाकिस्तान में कोई टैक्स फाइलिंग नहीं करनी है। अगर आप बिजनेसमैन हैं तो फिर, और वो भी उस सूरत में कि जब आप पाकिस्तान और बाहर से मुराद दुबई हो सकता है, कहीं में, वहाँ आपको ज़्यादा केयरफुल रहना है। और आखिरी बात जो बहुत अहम है कि पाकिस्तान अब एक टैक्स पेइंग सोसाइटी बनता जा रहा है। हम सब के लिए बहुत बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम ना सिर्फ टैक्स पे करें बल्कि उसको डिक्लेयर भी करें। और यही एक मेन वजह है। अगर आप हमारी फैटा की जो जर्नी देखें जो पाकिस्तान ने कंप्लाई किया है पिछले 2-3 सालों में, वो जर्नी यही है कि आपने AML CFT को, मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग को, काउंटरिंग द फाइनेंशियल टेररिज्म को आपने एड्रेस किया है, आपने डॉक्यूमेंटेशन ठीक की है, जिसकी वजह से पाकिस्तान फैटफ की जो शराइत थी जो कि फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर से पर्टेन करती थी उसको कंप्लाई हुआ। एक तो यहाँ पे बात मैं रोकता हूँ। उसके बाद जो अब आ जाती है बात चार्जेस की कि वो चार्जेस क्या हैं। बैंक्स एक कमर्शियल सेटअप होता है, जो वो बिजनेस करते हैं वो उस पर चार्जेस लेते हैं। तो चार्जेस तो बैंक्स लोकली, कोई पाकिस्तानी बैंक किसी किस्म के कोई चार्जेस नहीं ले रहा है। वो चार्जेस लिए जा सकते थे मसलन अकाउंट मेंटेनेंस पे, फंड्स ट्रांसफ़र पे, पर नहीं, कोई बैंक 12 के 12 बैंक इंक्लूडिंग दुबई इस्लामिक कोई चार्जेस नहीं ले रहा। हाउएवर, जो पाकिस्तान से बाहर से जब पैसे पाकिस्तान भेजे जाते हैं तो बीच में एक बैंक आता है जिसको कोरेस्पॉन्डेंट बैंक कहा जाता है। वो कोरेस्पॉन्डेंट बैंक 2 इदारों को आपस में मिला देता है। उस कोरेस्पॉन्डेंट बैंक के साथ हमारे बैंक्स ने बात की और उन्होंने कहा कि जनाब हमारे पाकिस्तानी से कम पैसे चार्ज किए जाएं। पहले ये पैसे $50-60 तक होते थे। अब क्योंकि कोरेस्पॉन्डेंट बैंक्स मुख्तलिफ हैं, जिसमें मसलन स्टैंडर्ड चार्टर्ड है, डॉइचे बैंक है, सिटी बैंक है, उन बैंक्स ने हमारी खातिर और पाकिस्तानियों की खातिर ये चार्जेस सब्सटेंशियली कम किए हैं और ये $5 से $9 पर ट्रांजैक्शन के दरमियान है, ताकि पाकिस्तानी का इंसेंटिव बेस रहे कि वो पाकिस्तान पैसे। अब इसमें ये बहुत ही मतलब इंस्टेंट ट्रांजैक्शन से होती हैं, बाद उसी दिन हो जाती हैं। जब डिलेज आती हैं तो डिलेज की वजह सिर्फ ये होती है कि आपने ट्रांजैक्शन लेट से पाकिस्तान के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में फ्राइडे को की तो बीच में सैटरडे संडे आ गया तो पैसे फिर मंडे को मिलेंगे। या आप अमेरिका में बैठे थे और अमेरिका 12 घंटे हमसे पीछे है, तो इसे सिमिलरली तो इस तरह की जो डिलेज आती हैं उसके पीछे इस तरह के अवामिल होते हैं। However, इन सब को भी हमने डिजिटली एड्रेस किया है, और अभी भी अगर किसी की शिकायत इस सिलसिले में आए तो वो काइंडली हमें बताएं. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू इरफान साहब. नाउ हमारे पास कुछ सवालात ऑडियंस के भी आ रहे हैं और अभी हम उसको शामिल करते हैं, बट बिफोर गोइंग टू ऑडियंस, फाइनल रिमार्क्स फ्रॉम आवर पैनल साइड. 2 सवाल मैं आपको दे रहा हूं, वेरी क्विक रिमार्क्स ऑन दैट. फर्स्ट, एनीथिंग व्हिच वी हैव मिस्ड आउट एंड यू वांट टू हाईलाइट कि ये चीज बहुत जरूरी है हमारी ऑडियंस के लिए अंडरस्टैंड करना, तो दैट फाइनल रिमार्क्स. और दूसरा, आई वुड इनवाइट यू टू रेट पाकिस्तान एज अ इन्वेस्टमेंट डेस्टिनेशन on the scale of 1 to 10. आपका क्या उसमें feedback आता है? 1 being the least attractive and 10 being the very, very attractive country. So where we see in a relative term in the region, how we see Pakistan. So sir, starting with the final remarks, and do give us some rating in terms of the Pakistan as an investment destination in the relative term. So Junaid Sab, starting from your side, and then we will come to Dr. Murtaza, Irfan Sab, Shabnam, and Raza Sab, and then Ambassador Sab. Final comments from your side.
Sorry to intervene. I have some other commitments. तो मैं भी आपसे इजाज़त चाहूँगा. So hopefully we will meet some other time. और मेरे behalf पे हमारी जो यहाँ पे community है उनके सवाल भी आएंगे, and hopefully you will satisfy them. And if there is anything left for me, so you can always communicate with us. I'm sorry I have other commitments.
No,
so
sir.
Really
totally
nice to be
understandable.
with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
जी
So,
सजीद,
Junaid,
थैंक यू सजीद. मैं यहाँ 2010 में आया था, और जस्ट वांट टू शेयर माय पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस कि मैंने आके एक रहायशी मकान खरीदा यहाँ पे, और उसकी जो कीमत थी 2010 में, वो आज उसकी कीमत उससे 5 गुना ज्यादा हो गई. तो इन टर्म्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट रियल एस्टेट कोई 15 से 20% का अपसाइड हर साल देखा है, सिवाय इसके कि कोविड पे थोड़ी सी वो नीचे आ गई थी. तो it's a no-brainer, and it's a natural hedge for people who are residing outside the country for on the exchange rate size. Because exchange rate पे हमने देखा है कि पिछले 12-15 साल से कोई 5-5.5% की डिवैल्यूएशन आती है अगर उसको एवरेज ले लें, बल्कि अब तो थोड़ी सी कम हो गई बिकॉज रुपी इम्प्रूव हो गया है. तो आपको अगर 10 से 15% का अपसाइड मिल जाता है रियल एस्टेट में, तो उससे नो ब्रेनर एज आई सेड कि वो पाकिस्तान में चूंकि 250 मिलियन की पॉपुलेशन है और देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिमांड फॉर रियल एस्टेट. और अब तो चूंकि ये एक नया पाकिस्तान प्रोग्राम भी हम उसको ड्राइव कर रहे हैं थ्रू द स्टेट बैंक ऑफ पाकिस्तान एंड द गवर्नमेंट, तो उस पर एक मैंडेटरी हो गया है कि बैंकों को 5% ऑफ देयर फाइनेंसिंग बुक हैज टू बी इन द रियल एस्टेट सेगमेंट. तो इससे काफी जो है एक्टिविटी क्रिएट होंगी और हो रही हैं. तो उससे मैं समझता हूँ कि ये एक बहुत अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं फॉर पीपल लिविंग अब्रॉड कि वो यहाँ पे आके. दूसरा, शबनम ने बहुत ही डिटेल में आपके वो स्टॉक मार्केट को डिफाइन किया है. तो स्टॉक मार्केट जिस तरह से परफॉर्म कर रही है इन द रीजन, परहैप्स द फाइनेस्ट परफॉर्मिंग मार्केट नाउ इन एशिया. तो मैं समझता हूँ कि बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं. उसके अलावा सजीद, जो दूसरी चीज है वो ये है कि यू नो आई हैव लिव्ड इन आउटसाइड द कंट्री फॉर मेनी इयर्स. तो वो एक तो it should be so cumbersome for me to think of sending money to my mother. उस जमाने में वो भेजें और उस पर वो टेलीग्राफ ट्रांसफर होता था और फिर हफ्ते के दिनों तक नहीं मिलती थी, कहीं कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट बैंक में जाके आपके अमाउंट फंस जाती थी. अब तो ये डिजिटल पे it takes minutes, you know, to make those transfers and facilitate those transactions. तो आप अपने न सिर्फ इस आरडीए प्लेटफॉर्म से अपने रिश्तेदारों को, अपने दोस्तों को जो आप करना चाहते हैं वो कर लें. दूसरे, आपके इन्वेस्टमेंट्स के लिए अभी बात हुई है कि वो आप स्टॉक में कर सकते हैं, रियल एस्टेट में कर सकते हैं, और पर्सनल फाइनेंस, मुख्तलिफ और चीज़ें, प्रोडक्ट्स हम लेकर आ रहे हैं. तो मैं समझता हूँ कि Pakistan is an ideal place for investing your funds. If you have an extra fund, please send it to Pakistan. Don't waste your time in any other country in the world now.
Thank you, Junaid Sab. And the most important one, there's a repatriation as well. If you need it back, you can always repatriate it. That's one of a key feature for RDA, which was not available earlier. Dr. Murtaza Sab, any final comments and investment destination, Pakistan as a destination for investments?
जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच सजीद साहब. आई थिंक आई जस्ट वांट टू मेक 2 पॉइंट्स. एक तो ये कि ये जो प्रोडक्ट हम लेके आए रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट, ये ओवरसीज़ पाकिस्तानीज़ के लिए ही है। तो हम चाहेंगे कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ओवरसीज़ पाकिस्तानी इसको यूज़ करें। जिस तरह जुनेद साहब कह रहे थे, इट इज़ मेंट टू केटर टू अ वैरायटी ऑफ नीड्स। जिन लोगों ने पैसे भेजने अपनी फैमिली को, उनके लिए भी ये अकाउंट है। जिनके पास थोड़ा ज़्यादा पैसा है, वो इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं स्टॉक मार्केट में, रियल एस्टेट में, नया पाकिस्तान सर्टिफिकेट में, उनके लिए भी ये है। और आगे जाके हम इसको और भी ग्रो करेंगे इंशाल्लाह। एक हाउसिंग फाइनेंस लोन के ऊपर काम हो रहा है और इसी तरह इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट्स के ऊपर भी बैंक्स काम कर रहे हैं हमारे साथ मिलकर। तो आने वाले दिनों में देखेंगे कि रेंज ऑफ सर्विसेज विल इंक्रीज। दिस इज़ फॉर दी ओवरसीज़ पाकिस्तानीज़। इसको आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल करें। आपका फीडबैक को आप हमें ज़रूर दें। सबसे पहले अपना मैसेज तो ये है। दूसरा, आई थिंक एज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट डेस्टिनेशन मेरा ख्याल है कि पाकिस्तान इज़ बिगिनिंग टू टेक ऑफ। हमारा जो जिस तरह हमने कोविड के साथ अभी तक डील किया है, वो हमें बहुत ऑप्टिमिज्म देता है कि हम एक बड़े अच्छे ट्रैजेक्टरी पे जा रहे हैं। ग्रोथ इस साल हमारी काफ़ी अच्छी है, अगले साल इससे भी बेहतर होगी इंशाल्लाह। और आगे वाले दिनों में बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ भी हैं पाकिस्तानी इकोनॉमी के अंदर। एक तो कंस्ट्रक्शन का सेक्टर है, जिसने जुनेद साहब ने कहा, उसके साथ साथ सीपेक में जो सेकंड फेज़ है और स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन्स जो बन रहे हैं, वहाँ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सर्विसेज के एक्सपोर्ट ज़्यादा बढ़ेंगी। और उसके साथ साथ एग्रीकल्चर में भी अब गवर्नमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा एम्फोसिस डाल रही है। तो मेरा ख्याल है पाकिस्तान इज़ ऑन अ टेक ऑफ फेज़ और दिस इज़ द बेस्ट टाइम टू इन्वेस्ट इन पाकिस्तान। तो मेरा ख्याल है, मुझे अगर आप कहेंगे 0 to 10 अगर मैं नंबर दूं, तो मैं तो 10 नंबर दूंगा जी इस वक्त।
नो, थैंक यू वेरी मच। और आई थिंक इसमें बहुत बड़ा जो आपका एक पॉइंट आपने उसमें शुरू में भी रेज किया था, above 7% US dollar based return, it's not available around the world. I think that's a big attraction for Pakistani community as well, to come to Pakistan and work with Naya Pakistan certificate, and DIB offered that in a Sharia compliant mode. Raza Saab, aapke final comments. Raza, आप अभी म्यूट पे हैं. Yeah, thank you.
If you see the under the umbrella of Roshan Digital, we have got Naya Pakistan certificate. Let's say if anyone, a person who wants to put his money in bonds or in sukuk, he has to chip in at least $200,000. The beauty of the Naya Pakistan is, okay, if you see the ticket size is either the blue collar or the white collar, and everyone can afford this. Okay, and wherever we sit socially and this and that, and when this is my job to promote this product as well. So every time, I say, look at the amount of investment what they are asking. They are not asking to put, 200,000. They are not asking to put 5,000 and start with something. So I think the ticket size is very crucial as well, which we like to highlight it here, number one. Number two, I cannot disagree with Dr. Murtaza. If he's saying 10, so I cannot say 9 or 10 is 10. But just to, some of the things which I would like to mention here. If you see, Pakistan is located in the Southeast Asia, in the second, the biggest market as well. And if you see the government step, what the government has taken, let's say if someone says, okay, if you compare with the other era and this area, what the government has done. So I always stipulate 4 or 5 key things basically, and I keep repeating this in all the conversation as well. The one is the curtailment of of non-essential imports. And this is one of the things which the government has really done it very nicely. The second thing, alignment of the exchange rate. What it used to be once upon a time, what is now here. People have got the comfort that, okay, whatever the exchange rate, the risk of the exchange rate, what the government has managed, it's a fabulous. The third thing is the document-based economy. Just to let you know, once upon a time, if you want to send anything, do whatever you want. But now, everything is documented. So that is one of the things which we should give credit to the government side as well. And the other thing, the removal of subsidies. Okay, for the short term, you see, okay, it is basically hinging, the people. But long term, of course.
Raza, sorry, I need to interrupt here because we are running. So if you can quickly give your final comment, and we can move to Shabnam Sahiba and Irfan साहब, आपके लिए एक बड़ा स्पेसिफिक सवाल भी आया हुआ है, रूल ऑफ परचेजिंग रियल एस्टेट बाय रोशन डिजिटल. सो ये एक बड़ा रिपीटेड थीम आ रहा है हमारे पास, so I'll come back on that. Ji Raza, please final one.
Yeah. So one thing. Okay. So these are the things what the government has taken. It's a fabulous steps. You can see the improvement in the coming years as well, and I'm very hopeful that definitely it will give us the improvement. What Shabnam has mentioned about the stock is, and Junaid Saab also mentioned about the stock. Just to let you know that today, okay, our stock KC index is 48,000. The highest what we have touched in the history of the KC index is 50,000. So we are not far from there. And if you see the stocks, of the European, countries, I will say stagnant or they are not performing the way it should perform. So we're on the right track, we're on the right path, and hopefully the things will start, getting better as well.
So should I rate it 11?
You cannot 7 out of 10, but 10 out of 10 is perfect.
Thank you. Shabnam Saiba, aapki side. Final comment.
Okay, so again, I just want to say that I think this RDA initiative has come at a very opportune time for like a variety of reasons. We brought to the non-resident Pakistanis a full-service digital platform, and in light of the general trend towards digitization, it actually fits very nicely and is perfectly aligned with the global trend. Actually, and it's nice to see, obviously, Pakistan being more of a leader in this rather than coming into the market on something so advanced as an initiative. But also, given the COVID situation as well, it's actually a very apt solution right now for everyone. But at the same time, when we look at obviously the global stock markets going through their highs and lows, again, people are entering these markets as investors for the first time. So this is giving non-resident Pakistanis that access. So I think it's really like a crucial thing for people to consider. And it should inspire non-resident Pakistanis to look towards their home capital markets with that level of enthusiasm as well. Because as I mentioned earlier, the whole idea of global news and all of that, there is something that's called perception arbitrage, which is basically when the perception of a country is portrayed in a very negative light, even though the reality and the situation on the ground is a lot better. And this is an opportunity because people are not able to see it. So I believe when it comes to Pakistan, the gap between what people from the outside may perceive based on mass news and so on, and the reality on the ground, there's a substantial difference. And therefore, there are significant opportunities that are currently undervalued. Last year, 2 ETFs have been launched, obviously on the Pakistan Stock Exchange. And as more new products come through, it will definitely significantly increase the trading volumes on the market, and there'll be a lot more opportunities for investors to participate. So I would say, I'm not going to score it, to be honest. That's kind of not my way of doing things, but ultimately it's definitely positive.
Thank you. So it's a positive news. और जो हम मीडिया पे देख रहे हैं, that's not necessarily reflection of जो पाकिस्तान में on ground हो रहा है, और ये we can witness that while sitting in Pakistan. जो हमें ground पे नजर आ रहा है वो बहुत फर्क है sometimes जो हम मीडिया में सुन रहे होते हैं. So Pakistan is realistically on an optimistic growth path, and we are seeing those developments happening in real life. इरफान साहब, सवाल एक आपका फाइनल रिमार्क्स, बट एक सवाल जो बहुत रिपीटेडली आया हुआ है, तो एक सवाल मैं जरूर ऑडियंस का आपके पास लाना चाहूंगा. द रूल्स फॉर परचेजिंग ऑफ रियल एस्टेट बाय रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट, और उसकी फिर रिपैट्रिएशन ऑफ ओरिजिनल अमाउंट व्हिच इज इन्वेस्टेड एंड विद प्रॉफिट.
जी थैंक यू सजीद. और एक शेर है परवीन शाकिर का, जो मैंने कहा जाते जाते सुना दो, कि बहुत से लोग मेहमान थे मेरे घर, लेकिन वो जानता था एहतमाम किसके लिए है. तो ये सारा एहतमाम जो है वो हमने किया नॉन रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानीज़ के लिए, और नॉन रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानीज़ को हमने कहा दूर रह के भी पास तो मैं और मुर्जा साहब और हमारी पूरी टीम अब पर्सनली और इमोशनली इन्वॉल्व है. प्रॉब्ली रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट हमारी लाइफ से अब कभी नहीं जाएगा. इट विल बी इट्स हियर. हम लोग शायद नौकरियों से चले जाएं, शिफ्ट हो जाएं, बट आई थिंक दिस इज समथिंग विल बी वेरी प्राउड ऑफ. और एक्सक्यूज मी फॉर सेइंग दैट, बट पाकिस्तानीज़ को हमने वाकई अपने करीब किया. सो जो बात बड़ी अहम है पाकिस्तानीज़ के लिए, कि हमने बड़े दिल से और बड़ी पूरी कोशिश से आपको डिजिटली अपने करीब किया, कर लिया है, ये हो रहा है. तो ये बात आई थिंक सबको जाननी है. तो एहतमाम जो था, जो परवीन शाकिर ने कहा, वो आपके लिए था, तो आपके लिए हमने वो पूरा एहतमाम पूरा किया. अच्छा, अब आ जाते हैं बात के, मैं आपके प्रॉपर्टी वाली बात पे भी आता हूँ. जब मुझे 1 मिनट दे दें. अच्छा, रियलिस्टिकली जैसे शबनम ने भी कहा कि कुछ चीज़ें नेगेटिव हैं, बट अभी हकीकत हाल क्या है, हो क्या रहा है. आपको मूडीज़ ने अभी रेट किया है. मूडीज़ कहता है, अब जो हमारे पाकिस्तानी जो सुन रहे हैं वो कह रहे हैं आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट ग्रेड है, वो कह रहा है पाकिस्तान में इन्वेस्ट करो. और ग्लोबल बॉडीज़ आपकी जो ग्रोथ रेट है, जो जीडीपी की ग्रोथ रेट है, जो 3.94 है, मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि सिर्फ उर्दू में बात करूँ ताकि सब लोग समझ लें कि 3.94% अगर ग्रोथ है, और स्टेट बैंक भी जो कि एक इंडिपेंडेंट इदारा है वो इसको उसकी तस्दीक कर रहा है, तो इसका मतलब यह है कि बातें कुछ सही जा रही हैं. उसके बाद अभी आप पिछले माह ही देखें, ज़्यादा अरसा नहीं गुजरा है, हमने $2.5 बिलियन, $2.5 बिलियन के यूरो बॉन्ड्स किए। अभी पिछले हफ्ते वापडा ने बगैर किसी गवर्नमेंट गारंटी के $500 मिलियन रेज किए और उसको $2.5 बिलियन की 5 गुना ओवर सब्सक्राइब हुआ। तो पाकिस्तान इज डेफिनेटली समथिंग टू राइट अबाउट। करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट की मुर्तज़ा साहब ने आपसे बात कर ली है, बैलेंसेस हमारे ठीक हो रहे हैं। और तो आई थिंक फ्रॉम अ स्केल ऑफ 0 to 10 इट इज डेफिनेटली 10। तो चले हमें आप बायस कह लें, जो भी कह लें, यू नो, पर मैंने आपके सामने सूरत हाल रख दी। अब मैं आखिरी बात कर देता हूँ रिगार्डिंग इन्वेस्टमेंट इन प्रॉपर्टी। देखें, प्रॉपर्टी के उसके हमने कुछ असूल वज़ा किए हैं, और वो कुछ असूल कुछ ही हैं कि पहली बात यह है कि आप बैंक में अकाउंट होना लाजमी है, रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट खोलें। जो प्रॉपर्टी आप खरीदना चाहते हैं तो पहला काम तो ये करें ना, जिसने नहीं खोला, मुर्जा साहब ने पहले ही आपसे कहा कि यार, पहले वो कहते हैं वो बॉन्ड, अगर किसी का बॉन्ड खरीदेगा तो बॉन्ड निकलेगा, नहीं तो बॉन्ड नहीं निकलेगा। तो इसलिए बड़ा ज़रूरी है कि अकाउंट खोलें ताकि आपका बॉन्ड निकले। तो बॉन्ड निकले, जो प्रॉपर्टी आप खरीदना चाहते हैं उसको वैल्यूएट करवाएं, उसको 2 प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यूएटर्स उसको वैल्यूएट करें, रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट में पैसे डालें और वो पैसे उसको पे कर दें। और जो प्रॉपर्टी की तमाम डिटेल्स हैं, जैसे कि आपकी रजिस्ट्रेशन, ट्रांसफ़र रिसीट्स, वो सब कुछ अपने बैंक को प्रोवाइड करें और बैंक को हर मरहले पे लूप में रखें, यानी उसको बताते रहें कि ये अब आपने बयाना अदा कर दिया है, अब आपकी रजिस्ट्री होने जा रही है। तमाम रसीदें विद वैल्यूएशन बैंक को पकड़ा दें, बैंक आपकी बात मानेगा। जब आप वो प्रॉपर्टी बेचेंगे वापस ले जाएं। सिर्फ उस प्रॉपर्टी पे अगर आपको कुछ प्रॉफिट होता है उसके लिए आपको 3 साल वेट करना पड़ेगा, और वो वेट भी उस वक्त स्टार्ट होता है जब आपने प्रॉपर्टी पहले दिन खरीदी। होपफुली प्रॉपर्टी में जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो लॉन्ग टर्म है। तो ये प्रोसेस है, हर बैंक का इसको पता है, 12 बैंक्स को। अगर आपको कोई मसला है तो हम हाजिर हैं। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू इरफान साहब, एंड बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया पैनलिस्ट का इस कन्वर्सेशन को पिक करने के लिए। इरफान साहब ने बड़ी अच्छी बात की, बॉन्ड नहीं लेंगे तो पता नहीं चलेगा कि निकलेगा कि नहीं निकलेगा, बॉन्ड लेना जरूरी है। तो रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट जरूर खुलवाएं, DIB के साथ भी खुलवाएं, और इसकी कोई कॉस्ट नहीं है। आपने जब रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट खुलवाना है उसकी कॉस्ट नहीं है, उसके बाद आपके पास सिर्फ अपॉर्चुनिटीज है। रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट बड़ा स्पेसिफिकली एक्सपैट पाकिस्तानियों और नॉन रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानियों की नीड को, उनकी डाइवर्सिफाइड नीड को, तो इट्स नॉट दैट जैसे अभी बात हुई कि एक सर्टन सेगमेंट के लिए तो ये फैसिलिटेशन है, दूसरे के लिए नहीं है। सो ये ओवरऑल हर तरह के जो नॉन रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानी हैं उनकी ये पर्सनल अकाउंट है, बिजनेस अकाउंट नहीं है। तो इसमें डेफिनेटली आप हाई नेटवर्थ इंडिविजुअल हैं, आप एक मिडिल क्लास से बिलोंग करते हैं, तो आपकी ज़रूरतें इसमें पूरी हो रही हैं। जैसे नया पाकिस्तान सर्टिफिकेट की अगर आप बात करें तो उसमें भी जो टिकट साइज है वो बहुत छोटा रखा गया है ताकि इंक्लूसिविटी रहे। सो अगर हम रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट को समराइज करें तो मैं इसको समराइज नॉर्मली इस तरह करता हूं कि ये डाइवर्सिफाइड नीड्स को इन अ वेरी इंक्लूसिव वे आपको एक फैसिलिटेशन दे रहा है। और उसके अलावा जो चीज ये सबसे अच्छी, इरफान साहब ने भी बात की, इमोशनल कनेक्शन, आपकी सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंगनेस बैक विद पाकिस्तान एंड रियली लेवरेजिंग ऑन ऑल द अपॉर्चुनिटीज। जिस तरह की भी अपॉर्चुनिटीज पाकिस्तान में आ रही है तो यू विल नॉट बी डिप्राइव्ड। आपके पास वो अपॉर्चुनिटी रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट के साथ अभी भी अवेलेबल है, और जिस तरह स्टेट बैंक और बैंक्स प्रोग्रेसिवली इस पे काम कर रहे हैं, गोइंग फॉरवर्ड आपके पास ये अवेलेबल रहेगा। आपको अगर किसी किस्म के और सवालात का जवाब चाहिए हो तो स्टेट बैंक और दुबई इस्लामिक बैंक की वेबसाइट पे आपको FAQs में भी मिल सकता है। इसके अलावा जो आपने कमेंट्स या सवाल पूछे जिसका जवाब शायद आपको इस डिस्कशन में अगर नहीं मिला तो वो आपको उनके फेसबुक पे, वहां पे आपको जवाब दिए जा रहे होंगे। बट स्टे कनेक्टेड विद स्टेट बैंक, स्टे कनेक्टेड विद दुबई इस्लामिक बैंक, और इस रोशन डिजिटल अकाउंट को एक्सपीरियंस करें। और जैसे मुर्तज़ा साहब ने पहले कहा था, जब आप एक्सपीरियंस करें तो बाकी 10 लोगों को भी बताएं, और दे विल इंश्योर कि अगर कोई आपका फीडबैक है तो वो फीडबैक प्रॉपर्ली इनकॉर्पोरेट हो रहा हो। नॉन रेजिडेंट पाकिस्तानीज के लिए प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन हुई है, अवेल दैट, देयर इज नो कॉस्ट इन ओपनिंग इट अप, और उसके बाद आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटीज आते हैं। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच ऑडियंस, थैंक यू वेरी मच पैनलिस्ट, एंड अगर आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए होगी तो आप वेबसाइट से डेफिनेटली दे सकते हैं। सो खुदा हाफिज एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you very much, Ji.
Yeah.